Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are back with our fantasy series, and we are discussing the third book in our latest series pick, Guilt Hunter. If you would like to see this in video format without ad breaks, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. We also have after shows available on Patreon and Spreaker. After shows and exclusive content on audio only are available on the Spreaker app, so sign up as a supporter to gain access. Don't forget, you can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere except for X at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay. So before we get started, as always, I want to remind you that with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. Today, we are discussing Archangel's Consort, Guilt Hunter's book number 3, written by Nalini Singh. The audiobook is narrated by Justine Eyre. First published January 25th, 2011 by Berkeley Sensation and Tandor Audio. The mass paperback comes in at 324 pages, and the unabridged audio is 10 hours and 21 minutes. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Vampire hunter Elena Devereaux and her lover, the lethally beautiful Archangel Raphael, have returned home to New York only to face an uncompromising new evil. A vampire has attacked a girls' school, the assault one of sheer vicious madness, and it is only the first act. Rampant bloodlust takes vampire after vampire, threatening to make the streets run with blood. Then Raphael himself begins to show signs of an uncontrolled rage, as inexplicable as the storms darken the skies. The omens are suddenly terrifyingly clear. An ancient and malevolent immortal is rising. The violent winds whisper her name, Calienne. She has returned to reclaim her son, Raphael. Only one thing stands in her way, Elena, the consort who must be destroyed.
All right, high level. When you finished the book, what did you feel? How did you like it?
I was happy with it because I love this series.
Yeah, I was unsurprised by that answer.
Yes.
100% unsurprised.
Yes, clearly, if you know me, if you've been listening for the past 2 months, this is my jam. This is my book series. This is my author. I will read anything she writes. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was much... So the last book, the second book, was very slow. It was a bridge book. It was showing Elena, getting her wings and healing. And now she's back in New York. Now she's kicking ass again. She's surrounded by her friends. She's still struggling with her wings a little bit, but she's, hunting vampires again, killing bad guys, and doing, fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sex in the ocean. Literally, not just figuratively.
I was like, that's interesting. Okay.
I was like, I hope you don't hit a shark.
I mean, they were kind of racing to the water at one point. So that was kind of interesting. So, okay, anyway. So when I finished, I'm not trying to be mean, but I was happy this ride was over for me. I was not satisfied with the ending. I thought, well, it's fine. It is what it is.
I feel like that's more my fault because I told you it was an ending, even though it's a happily for now ending, because they keep coming back throughout the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. But obviously book 4 is Dimitri's book, and then it goes on and jumps around through the other people in the world. And then it comes back to Elena and Raphael. So it's done for now. But I think you were expecting more of a conclusion when that was not the author's intention at all. That was just me saying, yeah, it's done for now.
You're right. I expected something a little more definitive. Even if they come back later, I still wanted to feel like we got a complete story with them. And I did not feel like that is what we got. I still don't love these two characters. I think that they're fine.
Oh, no. You pulled out the F word.
I know, the F word. Oh my gosh.
Fine.
fine. And I don't really still believe Elena and Raphael are going to be like our power couple. I still don't feel it, even though they had lots of sex and lots of compromising, which I have to say I was really disgusted with the amount of discussions of compromising that they had about the same fucking topic. You're killing me. Just stab me in the eye with a pitchfork. Are we going to talk about this again? I guess we are.
No.
He's very hard-headed.
He is. He has softened a lot since we first saw him at the beginning of the first book, and he's going to continue to soften throughout the rest of the series.
Mhm.
So I am being very lenient on him because I know how much he keeps growing.
He technically is growing, but he just bounces back every other chapter. So he's like, I know that she needs freedom. I know that she would not agree with this. I know, but still, this angel's coming with you. But still, you have a bodyguard. But still.
And I mean, to be fair, she needs it right now, like with the helicopter scene.
Yes.
The humans are like, oh my god, new angel. We need to fly a helicopter directly at her. And
Yes.
her dumbass is like, I'm just going to sit here and, take it.
Well, maybe it would have done her character some growth if she actually got seriously injured out there on her own, and then maybe accepting the help or accepting the protection after that. I don't know. There was just another way I think I would have received that better than them having that same conversation over and over again.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know. Either it's his fault or her fault. A combination of the two characters. It was getting on my fucking nerves. I feel like they had at least 5 conversations about that, at least.
Oh yeah, they had a lot.
Like, oh my god.
It kept going and going and going.
Yeah, like the Energizer Bunny. Like this situation will not die. Cannot. But I understand why they kept having it. I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to change the subject completely to hopefully something you like.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about Sarah and Deacon coming back?
Oh, I like them.
Oh, good.
I always like them. I do like the interactions that Elena has with them. It's always fun. The fact that she has like a little room at their house if she wants to come there, that's her family. And even the little kid is cute. Their child is really cute. I don't know. I just like them. They're a breath of fresh air on the page.
Good. I'm glad there was something that made you happy in the story.
Yeah, and I even like when Elena interacts with them. I like her when she's interacting with them. Actually interacting with anyone but Raphael. I mean, she's really fun, like interacting with, what's his face? The angel that she really likes.
Ilium.
She, their interactions are always fun. Even when she's talking to her asshole of a dad, that's interesting to read at least. So I don't know. I like all her interactions. I like her as a character on her own.
But not together. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I did like seeing her friends. That was nice because I like them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I still feel like I want to read their story, but I don't want to find the story. Like I found the book that you told me it's in, but it's not labeled in a way where I can just go to it. And the idea of flipping through that entire book and reading the first couple sentences of each one to try to figure out what the hell we're talking about
around here.
I can't. I cannot do. So
I will figure it out for you and text
go to chapter 11.
Yes.
Then I will do it. But when I opened that thing and I saw there were no clear headers, I don't know what's what. I'm like, fuck this. It's going to sit here. I don't have it in me to figure it out. So
okay, I will figure that out for you because I want you to read it and enjoy it. I think you will really enjoy it. If you enjoy them,
I
think you'll enjoy their story.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully there's more of them throughout the series. Even
definitely.
Elena isn't the focus.
They're her family. They're Elena's family, so they do come back and they're around. And obviously, like Deacon already started making weapons for her, so that's a recurring theme too, where he keeps making new weapons for her. And we know Galen is in love with Deacon for his weapons, so that'll happen too.
Around. Okay,
but we also got to see more of Ashwini in this book very briefly. She talked about her Cajun with the honey.
Oh,
They come back in a future book. So that
okay.
was we're seeing more of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really like about this series, is that it is so global.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see a lot of different people, different areas, different parts of the world. But yeah, I think you might like Ashwini's book. I'll reread that for you and then let you know if you should read it or not.
Yeah, because I'm starting to wonder, maybe, like, I'm trying to identify, like, outside of Raphael, like, what exactly is my problem? Like, I'm trying to identify it. And the more things that you say you like, I'm like, is that it? Is it that I don't like how global it is? I'm trying to, like, pinpoint, like, as you're saying things, I'm like, what is it? Is it that?
I mean, yeah, no, global is so different from every other series we read, right? Like, typically in, like, Janine Frost, we love the Cat and Bones series. And technically, they're global too, because they travel to Europe, they have friends all over the place, but we see everything from Cat's point of view until we have the couple of spin-off books and series and whatnot. But, like, it's 90% Cat and Bones in their point of view.
Yeah.
But they're still, so it's very centered on them, even though it's global. Whereas here, we're literally like, oh yeah, let's get in this person's point of view and see them fight vampires down in Louisiana. Well, let's watch this vampire go hunt other vampires in China. And it's just very different people, very different lives, very different stories. Whereas, you know, typically Mercy Thompson, again, we love her, but it's very limited to just her point of view.
So I think, okay, so from the audiobook point of view, it needs a lot more than one narrator.
Oh, definitely.
I think I noticed this book more than ever, because Raphael did have, like, a lot of space where we were with him, like, you know. So I'm like, we need a male narrator. We need a male narrator. And maybe even as they start increasing the amount of POVs, maybe a third narrator, just to get a different tone, a different inflection, maybe an accent.
I would love this series to be in graphic audio and have a whole cast of people with all of the accurate accents. Although, like, I'm not listening to the audiobook. I'm sure, I hope she's doing the accents well. But it's like, if we have a cast,
it's just one big blah. It's just one. Like, she's not a bad narrator, but everyone sounds the same, and that's, I think, part. Okay, so maybe this isn't a good book for audio consumption, at least at this point. Until they're able to do, like you said, a graphic audio would be good, but even just a regular
dual narration or something.
And it's too late for this because the series is old, right? But even if I've read books where there are 3 narrators, just because there's 3 points of view or 4 or 5 points of view, and everyone needs to sound a little different. One person can only do so many voices, and it's before it starts to sound the same anyway. So I think the audiobook did not help. And lately, I've been loving audiobooks. So maybe that's my problem. Maybe the audiobook is the problem. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what the issue is. Maybe it's a combination of all of the
stars aren't aligned, and you know, you would like this if you had read it a year ago, just because life and the world and everything. Because sometimes I read a book and I'm like, this is just wrong for me right now. I would have liked this a year ago, or maybe I'll like this a year from now. Like, absolutely, that happens all the time as a book reader.
Yeah. So I don't know, but definitely the audiobook. If you haven't, and I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast and you're listening to us talk about book 3, you either have already read this series and you love it, or you're just listening because you like us. And if you're just listening because you like us and you haven't read this series, I don't think don't do audiobook. It might hinder your experience, I think, honestly.
That's really sad, because normally you love the audiobook and you're always trying to get me to listen to the audiobooks.
But it hurt in this time, because in this situation, because we really need a second narrator badly.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes just hearing that switch from a feminine to masculine voice, it pulls your attention into the story in a different way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, that's why I rarely listen to audiobooks, is because I just don't like the person's the person's voice.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's the same voice all the way through, I don't want to listen to you for 10 hours. Like,
Yeah.
at least if it's broken up, I can stomach it better.
Yeah.
But
it works well on one POV. Like you said,
Mhm.
if it's all Mercy's point of view, great.
Yeah.
And that is actually where I talked about how that series messed up in the last book. So
Mhm.
before that, in the audiobook, we had a guy for Adam, and we were like,
Yep.
it's so great. And then we went to this last book, and it was one freaking narrator again. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Could y'all not afford the second narrator? What the fuck? Like, why are we doing this? So I hate that. If you have a
Yeah.
distinct man and female leading the book, and they both get FaceTime, you need a man and a female narrator. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Stop being cheap. Pay the second narrator. If that's what it is.
100% agree. I feel like audio sales would go up if you said we have two narrators here, because people are like, ooh, two voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So that's my 2 cents on the narration for this series. And I think it definitely hurt than helped in my case.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the other secondary characters?
Like who? Like his mother?
We saw his mother. We saw the hummingbird, who's Helium's mother. We saw Li Zhuang come back.
Li Zhuang, she's shitty.
Yes, she is.
Honestly, I don't really. And here we go again. I kind of feel meh about all of the side characters, with the exception of Helium. I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
His mom was, that was sad. I'm like, oh, she's got like dementia or something. I'm like, what's going on there? Like, oh, that was unfortunate. But I think she seems like a nice character, but she kind of also just bled into the background. Unfortunately, maybe I didn't get enough of her to really.
Yeah, I wish there had been more with her, because they played it up so much to begin with. They're like, the hummingbird is coming. And then she shows up, and then it's over. And I was like, there needed to be more here.
Yeah.
She needed to actively do something or help move the plot along. Anything. Like, you could cut that scene out and nothing would change from the book.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's kind of like you expect this big reveal, and instead you see this shuffling old lady.
Yeah.
who can't remember anything. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
No, she needed to come in and like strike lightning or something. Or no, there needed to be more with her, with all of that build up and lead up about it.
So another missed opportunity, I would say, for the author to do something interesting, but it was kind of bland to me. So, I'm like, oh, that was cool that she was on the page, but other than that, nothing. Let's see. What's Kellyanne? Is that her name?
Kellyanne, that's his mom.
Yeah, so I feel like she is going to be interesting. She's very powerful, but obviously she just woke up, so she's got a handicap right now.
Yep.
But I think she's going to be trouble. I think she seems like she loves her son. She seems like she can't be that bad.
She seems sane when she wasn't sane 1,000 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, she seems like she's a little bit better, but she probably could have slept a little longer. She needs some more time to bake. So I think I liked her character. I think she could be pretty entertaining in future books. I expect nothing but drama from her. I expect they're going to regret not taking care of her when they had the chance, when she was weaker, because the minute she gets stronger, it's going to be over. It's going to be done. Like, trying to take her out is going to be near impossible. But yeah, I like that we have another power player on the board. So that's good. But I was a little bit put out by the whole, Raphael, she's talking to him and shit. Like, that's creepy, lady. Stay out his head. That's so weird. And then Elena's like, I can hear her. like, oh my God. There's nothing worse. I would hate that if my mom was just able to just telegraph to me. I'm like, no.
That is, no. No. It's marginally okay if your romantic partner's doing it because it can get sexy. But if it's your parent, that is a hard line. That is a hard
That's a no. Thanks. Yeah. No thanks. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, I did like things about her. I wish the author had given the treatment of her a little different.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one of the side characters? Jog my memory.
Well, there's Dimitri, who I know you love so much.
Well, actually, he wasn't that bad in this book.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like they have an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fine. But he didn't, I don't know. He kind of was there, but I also kind of didn't think about him too much.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There was also Venom and Ransom there for a little bit, helping fight the good fight against all the bloodthirsty vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Ilium.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. He got taken.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
He did. Okay, so we are recording this in December of 2024. And if you're listening to this now, you kind of know what's going on in the news. And if you're listening to this later, just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
He had a wonderful line in there. And this book was written in, 2010, 2011? Like, it's
old.
It's old.
Yeah.
It's been more than a decade.
Yeah.
And he I don't have the line in front of me, but he was saying something like, you humans dismiss and don't really care when people in power kill millions or hurt millions by taking away their money, by taking away their 401ks and their retirement plans or their insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't care. There's a slap on the wrist and nothing else. Mm-hmm. But if one person comes out with explicit violence, then you punish that person with the explicit violence, but not the person in power.
Right.
And that was just like, oh, this has been a problem for a while.
Oh, yeah, this is not new.
No, but it just felt very slap in the face given the current situation.
But isn't that crazy how people say things about something a decade or more before, and we're still here. We're still here.
We're actively doing that. We're actively punishing the one person who had violence against one other person, but not caring about the people who give violence to millions.
The companies, yeah. And
the companies,
people who lead
the
those
insurance
companies, yeah.
Yeah, all of it.
It's like, we never learn a lesson. And have you heard that I've heard, like, I can't even think of who said it or whatever, but I've been hearing this for as long as I've been alive. Like, if you don't learn the lesson, it keeps coming back again and again until you learn it. And that's telling us we have not grown as...
Not at all. Not as a society, not as a culture.
Not at all. And that applies to a lot of things going on right now in December 24. Yeah. We did not learn the lesson, and here it is again.
Yep.
So, and it's going to keep coming back in different ways and different people until we fucking get it together.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that. And that's the truth. And if people, you guys, think about this in your own life. What situations have come up over and over again and just don't seem to go away? There's something you haven't gotten out of that you need to. So,
and it pops up again and again for years.
Yeah. Yep.
You might think you escaped it for a little while, but then 4 years later it's back and you're like, oh shit.
Here we are.
Again. No lesson learned. We're going to suffer.
Yeah, just like the characters in these books, just like, Elena and Raphael, fucking learn the fucking lesson. Figure out what the fuck is going on and let's move forward. Like, can we please? It's so funny how, like, stuff applies to fiction and real world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really fun when you see fiction call out the real world so explicitly, where you're like, wow, I could make a Facebook post of this and everybody would think that I just said it today, not 15 years ago.
Right. It's so crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah. I think now it's a good time to take a break.
Okay,
so you guys check out these commercials. By listening to those, you are supporting the podcast. And while you're there, hop on over to Amazon and pick up a copy of the Book Review Journal. You can start off your 2025 with a new journal.
Yes, they're so cute and so helpful.
Keep track of what you're reading next year. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Now that we've had a dose of reality inserted into our fiction, I would like to mention one other thing that kind of annoys the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know how I feel about babies and books and how babies being the end game for a romance to be successful.
Yeah, same.
I hate that bullshit so bad. And I was so annoyed with the baby conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Ick.
That is one of my biggest, I don't want to say icks, but just ugh. I don't want to read about that.
Yeah. It's like they have to have this whole, let's address, motherhood and have some babies. You want to have
that
babies?
He just kept calling it like a babe. Do you want to bring a babe into this world? And I was like, just call it a child. Why does it have to be a babe?
That's going to be interesting.
That makes me think of Babe the Pig.
So it kind of does. But who's having babies with wings on them? Ew.
I mean, we don't know how angels are born. Like if they are fully born with their wings on or if they kind of grow out. I don't know.
See, I don't want to know.
I don't want to think about that.
I don't want to know. And honestly, I prefer, and I'm not against characters having a family. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
But I don't like that as a plot device. Like, can't we just skip off into the sunset, happily ever after? And if they happen to have kids, they happen to, but we don't need to always have to have them.
The conversation.
Right. Like, we don't have to, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know why authors do that.
I mean,
I don't know.
So twofold. One, some readers expect that, and that's part of their fantasy, and that's part of what they want to escape into. And, sometimes the authors are the same. That's part of what they really love in real life, and that's what they want to bring into their fictional worlds. Also, I don't know. They just feel like that's the next logical step.
Is it though?
But it doesn't have to be.
So look, like I said, these characters can show up in 10 years and have a kid that we never saw get born on page, and I'd be okay with it.
Mm-hmm. So, spoiler alert, Alona Andrews does that, I'll just say, in one of their series.
Mm-hmm.
One book ends with the character saying, oh no, I'm pregnant. And then the next book picks up like 2 or 3 years later where the kid is 2 years old and running around and eating soap. Which I felt was like a real life story that they dealt with their own kids. But so like you kind of skip that whole pregnancy trope and the character still has to go and fight and do everything that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have a kid running around. So that's kind of similar, and I was okay with that because we didn't have to deal with she's pregnant, she's throwing up, she's dealing with swollen ankles, she's doing this, that, and the other. Like, we skipped over that. So I was thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
That I can deal with.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah. We get each other on that. Like,
yes, absolutely. As soon as somebody starts throwing up, I'm like, oh, you're pregnant. Let's put this book down and walk away.
Yeah, that's just not fun to me. But what did you think about how Elena dealt with her father in this book?
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of growth in her with her father. Between the last book where she realized she had some good memories of him and this book where she was finally like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to let you treat another child like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also the difference is, fortunately for the child, their mother is very different.
Oh, absolutely. She has a good mom who's like, I'm going to fight for my baby, and you're not going to stop me.
And Elena goes, oh, I didn't know that was in there. But, she's like, I didn't know she was that kind of person. But good,
But good,
because, yeah. Because she's not going to let him disown another kid because they're a hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Surprising to you?
Not really. I didn't expect it in this book, but when it came out, that's why he needed to talk to her. I wasn't surprised because I don't think I ever assumed it was a maternal trait that was passed. I never assumed that. I just thought, oh, she's a hunter somehow in her line, but I never assumed it was from the mom.
But we learn in the epilogue that there is some power from her mother's line where somebody was a vampire.
Yeah, which is interesting. So, yeah.
This is a plot line later in the series, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I get that, because I'm like, okay, so who's your vampire family member? It's going to come up eventually, because they're still alive, clearly.
Well, they should be, unless they're being buried alive and tortured somewhere.
Oh my God. That scene was also, side note, that scene was stupid as hell to me. So I don't understand how Elena is a hunter. She's seen these things. She understands the world, but yet she's so feeling betrayed because...
Okay, yeah, no, that one was really annoying to me too. I agree with her that it shouldn't be in her yard, because I wouldn't want to walk on top of a buried vampire either. That would freak me out, but I'd be like, go put them in a cemetery. Right. Go bury them under the ocean. Like, do it.
But she's going to say, don't do it. Don't give him that punishment.
Don't do it. Find something else. And I'm like, what else is there? This seems like a very nice punishment.
Yeah. And to them, 10 years is like not that long.
Yeah. No.
So I again, frustration with the characters. In the interactions together. Like, I thought you understood the world you're living in, but clearly
I felt like that was more of an inconsistency on her part, because she has been tracking and hunting vampires since what? She turned 18?
Yeah.
Like, she has seen what they do, why they need to be punished,
right?
How awful it is, and yet, like, this was a very benign punishment compared to the other shit that they've done.
Yeah.
And she flipped out about it. Like, I understood her to a point. Again, like, not in my front yard. Go bury them somewhere else. But bury them. Like, that's...
Yeah, I could understand that. She said, oh, no, not where I live at. Take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
That would have been fine. But the way she reacted, I was like, who the fuck? Who is she? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
Yeah,
like,
no, that was very inconsistent with her character.
No one got their limbs torn off. Nobody's been tortured for years. Like...
Nobody's hanging from a noose, still barely alive. Right. And like, yeah, no, it was...
Yeah. Another reason for me I just don't like the characters. I don't like her. And I don't know if the author just wasn't clear, or authors weren't clear on what the task is for her, or what. I don't know. It just seems to get lost sometimes with that character. 1 minute where I can do it whatever I want. I'm so strong. I'm so this. Oh, don't I bury someone? Oh my God.
Like, it was
like, what?
It's weird. It's fine for her to be empathetic and kind and caring and whatever, and like she can show that other ways.
Yeah.
But she doesn't need to do it with the vampires who she's been hunting and capturing and handing over for decades. Like, it's...
Yeah, like, that's what you've been doing. You've been hunting these things.
What did you think was
back.
Happening when you gave the vampires back to the angels?
Yeah,
they get tortured.
You're serving them up on a platter. Here you go. Go do what you will with your vampire.
And I'm sure they were not as nice as let me just bury you for 10 years. It's probably let me rip your limbs off and then rip them off again when they grow back.
Yeah, so that part didn't really jive with me too much. So, what about when Elena wanted her own space in the house?
That I can understand.
Mhm.
Like, as an introvert who has my own space, I was like, oh, yes. Oh,
Mhm.
yes, I need my own room. I will
Mhm.
put a bed in there. I will sleep in that room. Like, I'll catnap in that room. I'll read my books in that room. Like, I need my space where I
Mhm.
can just go sit and be me. Like, that is
That seems fine.
100%.
Yeah, but he's like, "What?" He's like, "Can I go in there?" She's like, "Maybe, I don't know." But I think he just said something like, what did he say? He kinda said, like, "I'll just come in there and get you and take you back."
Yeah, and I was like, don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, he's like, "You're mine." And she's like, "But they do that to each other. You're mine. You're mine." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, okay. We understand."
Yeah, sometimes they do sound a little bit like toddlers bickering. You're mine. No, you're mine.
See?
But then they have hot sex and you're like, they're not toddlers. This is not toddler
They're not
behavior.
toddlers. They're not toddlers, and I don't think the sex is that hot, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it's just them. Again, maybe it's these characters.
I mean, most sex scenes, and I mean like 99% of the sex scenes that I read are just so mid and so boring to me at this point because I've read 18 million over the
Mhm.
years and edited so many that it's just like white noise at this point. And
I mean,
I'm only like,
honestly,
oh, you're falling into the ocean? That's cool.
yeah, that's
That's
interesting.
that's new and interesting. I don't think I
Yeah.
see that very often.
So I haven't read as much of the spicy as you have, but I've read enough romance where it's like there's only so many things you can do, and it
Mhm.
starts to sound all kind of very similar.
Mhm.
So I'm not really like wowed by any of it anymore.
Same. It's really sad.
Yeah, I'm like, "Can I get the spice back?" Where I'm like, "Ooh." Honestly, on a side note, I'm gonna take a little excursion here.
Yeah.
But I finished that one series I was telling you about with this girl who had like 5 guys or something.
Oh,
So in
wow.
this
That's a
final
lot of men
book,
to
look, in this final book, there's the scene where she actually has sex with all these guys, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that is crazy. That is some crazy shit." And I'm like, it wasn't hot. I was sitting there like, "What the fuck is happening?" The whole time I'm like, "What?"
That's usually how I am when there's a giant group of people. I'm like, okay, you're here. Who's like
They taking turns, and she like, I'm like, "Girl," I'm more like, "What?" I'm like, that's not sexy." So, okay, back to the topic, sorry.
Well, okay, I mean, I can say I have accidentally insulted my clients when I called her book or I said it was mid. And
Mhm,
she's like, "Oh my god, and I thought it was spicy." And I was like, "No, this is me. Everything is mid to me. You're fine.
mhm. It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. My brain is broken." Like,
I don't know,
yeah.
but
Anyway.
yeah. So, yeah, what's left for me to love? Like, they annoy me on the surface, they annoy me in the bedroom, they annoy me when they bicker, they annoy me when they're loving, they annoy me constantly.
Well, at least they aren't together 24/7, and at least she goes
Yeah,
off and hangs out with other people and,
thank God.
faces her dad alone and does stuff alone.
Yeah. Like the meme says or, the TikTok said, "Thank God." Like, if it weren't for that, it'd be really bad.
Oh god. I'm sorry I made you read this.
Look, it has, and again, I'm sorry, y'all. It has all the ingredients. The ingredients are there. It would be something that you would think I would
Mhm.
like.
Maybe if I made you read this back in 2011, you would have loved it more back then.
Maybe. I feel like I'm hard to please nowadays. It's getting harder to impress me, which is not good. I feel like I should take a mini break from reading.
Mhm.
Just take a break and not read anything for like months. But then I can't do that because I'm devoted to the podcast. So I can't even do it. But sometimes I feel like, what if I just had a clean slate where I've been
Mhm.
like nothing?
Mhm.
And then it's like starting again,
Yes.
but I can't take that kind of break. I mean, I
I mean,
could, but it seems wrong.
Yeah, we don't want to leave the podcast.
No, I feel, but like that's the kind of break I would need to be like, totally refreshed and not feel like everything sounds the same a long time off. But who knows? I might try that and then it will fail because I remember everything. I don't know. But anyway. All right.
So
what else?
Before we started the podcast, you told me that you had figured out everything. So how, like, do you want to walk me through that? Like how it was easy for you to pick up on that? Because obviously I'm rereading, so I knew, and this is my job, and I'm looking for those foreshadowing clues. But do you want to talk about how you noticed it?
I just
or how you guessed?
I just remember Elena talking again. She's the scent girl. She's talking about all the scents, and I just felt like something it was just too obvious when they started saying, hey, she's waking up. And it was clear that they were trying to make her be the one that were commanding all these people and doing all these things. I was like, it's not her. It's not. I just knew, like, something in my being just said, okay, this is
gut instinct.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I read so many thrillers and mysteries. I kind of feel like we've already seen the killer, you know, kind of thing. So it kind of followed that trope a little bit. And I'm like, oh, of course, it's this bitch. It's always her. It's always her.
No, it was really frustrating how, like, they're immediately like, oh, yeah, it's definitely her, and we're only going to focus on her and not think about anything else. And I'm like, could you please at least question your theories? Could you please at least try and broaden your horizons for a minute?
Yeah.
But...
And the only thing that saved it, honestly, was the fact that Elena kept kind of motivating Raphael to kind of wait and talk to her, like wait and see, kind of just don't just jump in there and try to murder her immediately.
Can I just say he's a big fucking idiot? Like,
well, yeah.
I say this with love because I do love him, but oh my god, he's a big fucking idiot.
He is.
Like, he just listened to Li Zhuang, then found his mom, then just straight up led Li Zhuang to his mother. And I was like, you keep saying it's taboo to kill a sleeping angel. And Li Zhuang keeps saying, kill the sleeping angel, which is your biggest taboo. And you're just listening to her.
Which
and
is
you're
doing
clue.
It. Which is another clue. Why is Li Zhuang wanting to kill her so immediately and so fast?
The woman who raises the dead and wants to be the most powerful being in the Earth, universe, whatever. Like, it's just...
If anything bad happens, I'll be looking at her. What you do now?
Yeah, of course.
It's you. It's you. It's always you.
We saw her die, except she's not dead because she was too powerful to die. Right. But then she decided to come back and be human again. You're just going to accept it and have tea with her.
Yeah.
And then just accept everything she says. Again. He's a big idiot.
He is an idiot. And she just play him left and right, too.
Completely.
Like, wow.
I kind of love that for her as like you're being a good villain.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, come on, dude. I know you have a brain cell in there somewhere. In there.
No, he's too busy trying to be ultra protective, where he can't think of anything else because he's constantly thinking about Elena. So, I don't know. But now he's got some other kind of power. I didn't see this other thing that they were talking about. Like, it was kind of a lie that, Elena was hurting him or making him weak. Like, it's kind of a misdirect. She was trying to make him think one thing.
He has humanity in his blood, which counteracts Li Zhuang's power. So
which is interesting. I'm like, what is that exactly? Okay, I guess.
It was kind of murky. It was different. It's true love's first kiss, but inside your bloodstream.
Like, true love is a power. Yay! I'm being so mean. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do we need to wrap up? Do we need to get you off the podcast?
Look, the longer I'm here, the more shit I'm going to talk. I feel like. So, I mean, I don't know. I just, I guess I always have a good time talking about this stuff with you because it's pure entertainment for me. So even if I don't necessarily love everything I'm reading, the payoff is talking about it. So,
oh, good. Okay.
mhm.
I'm glad there's something good coming out of
yeah,
this.
I mean, it's fun. And I know, like, I kind of feel like the more sarcastic I am, the more y'all listeners like it.
Oh no, are we going to have to do this with every book series now?
We might have to start like rant reviews or something. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of books we can do that with.
yeah.
A lot of books.
Oh my gosh. But the sad part is this was an accident. I didn't mean for it. That wasn't my intent. It just started out that way and the train wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. But yeah. I mean, if you have more things, we can cover them. Otherwise, I'm okay with rating it.
I mean, I was happy. I love the book. I love the series. I'm excited for where it's going to go. I know where it's going to go, but like I'm excited to keep reading it. It was fun to see all of the side characters, and we got a couple of hints about Dimitri, and his book is next.
Are you going to keep reading it right now, or are you going to shelve it for now?
No, I'm definitely going to keep rereading it. I am like
you're on a roll.
Hooked. I'm on a roll. Mm-hmm. Also, we have the next book coming out, I believe, in April. Mm-hmm. So I think Nikki and I are going to keep talking about it in the Discord when I remember to sign into Discord.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we have a member of the book club who has fully embraced this series.
At the end of when we were in book club for the second book, so like a month ago, she was already on book 8.
Yeah, she was far.
I think she was on book 8.
She was addicted immediately. So you got a new fan for the series.
I love it.
Yeah. I wish it were me. I really wish it were. I wish upon a star, but it is not.
I mean, we're going to find a series at one point where you and I are both like, oh my God, this is so good. And we're just going to binge the whole thing.
I want that with every fiber in my being. I want that so bad.
We're going to find something. Yes.
Like it's got to exist.
It does. Well, we have Mercy right now.
I know.
So there's got to be another one.
We're enjoying the Fourth Wing stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to be doing the new book in February. That comes out in January. So if you guys are Fourth Wing fans, then you want to make sure you're subscribed because we'll be pigging back around to that series in February. So I guess that's kind of one. I mean, we both really like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're in love with it, but we both really enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm
trying to think, what else are we absolutely like in love with, quote unquote, you know, series wise?
Mercy, which is,
Mercy.
I just said. And the Alpha and Omega spin-off series has a new book coming out sometime next year. So maybe we could binge that.
It comes around. Yeah. When it comes around, we'll have to revisit the other books at some point. Because I think it's later. We talked about that. It's later in the year. So
yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and rate Archangel's Consort. I'll let you go first because we already know. Go for it.
4 stars. I love it. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I do nitpick it a little bit. Raphael is a himbo for a while there. Elena needs to get her head on straight. But I love it. It's one of my favorite series. So I'm fully invested in the series and the plot and all of the characters and the secondary characters. I'm here for it.
Okay, bet. I will give it another 3.
3 is good from you.
3 for 3.
Yeah.
3 is like dead center. Like I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought the pacing in this book was a little better. It wasn't the fastest pace, but I guess I would classify it as medium paced. But it was consistent. Like there weren't really any big lulls. And y'all heard all the complaints I had with the characters and the couple. Will I read more? If Casey can find me these specific stories, I might engage with those. But other than that, no. In general, I'm done with the series, high level. But, I wouldn't mind reading about, Sarah and Deacon, right? There's a couple other outliers that I might engage with if my reading schedule opens up.
Okay.
So
I will keep you posted. I'll give you stories. I'll let you know as I'm reading them. So
okay, good. Up next, join us in January. We'll be doing a duology, and we're going to be kicking that off with Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. So we're going to take an about face, and we are going to go in a different direction, and we are going to read some YA, and we are going to be visiting the sea.
Woo!
Woo-woo!
Pirates!
So we went from angels to pirates. So we're going to see how this goes. Y'all cross your fingers and your toes.
Yes.
I need to kick off 25 with a series that I really, really like. So I'm hoping that this duology might do the trick. I'm crossing my fingers.
Yes.
So if y'all have read those and you like them, let us know. Keep it spoiler free, obviously. But, if you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself for now, because I don't want to be influenced in a bad way, because I can go the bad way on my own. I don't need any influence. I think that's it. What do you think, Casey?
I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we're done for now.
Okay. This has been a fun conversation. Thanks so much for listening to the entire hour. Yeah, and it's been almost an hour. So we appreciate you for doing that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And of course, hope to see you in January. Come back next week because we'll have our year-end wrap-up. So you don't want to miss that. Join us over on Book Club's app. Join us for book club. That's always a fun time. And I think, that's all the things I'm supposed to mention. We'll see you guys next month. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.